Trump's.
I'm a Republican. McCormick said
Greetings, brethren, sistren, and otheren, for another exciting time of Eldritch Nights and Gray Days, a game called Tremulus, for those of you paying attention at home, powered by the apocalypse, Lovecraftian fantasy. So I'm going to call it a Derlethian fantasy because Lovecraft was a smoking racist. So meet our band of intrepid investigators currently looking into some train explosions and fungal infections and odd religious groups in a small town, small rail town. Hijinks have so far ensued a little bit, but headed toward the end game on this one, possibly. All right, so when last we met, all y'all were holed up recovering from a potential fungal infection that didn't seem to manifest more than just a respiratory illness for a few days. Apparently, everyone is fully recovered. And again, if you haven't already recovered your physical health up to full, everybody take a moment to do that. Nobody's just suffered any major shocks to the system. So if you've had any mental hits as well, bring those up to maximum. All right. So what you know is there was some sort of cult organization trying to spread a fungus, a very strange fungus, out to the growing fields in California. The apparently the trainload of tainted fertilizer from Jensen Chemicals was blown up here in the rail yard through dint of a derailment blamed on the king of the hobos who since has died in the electric chair. That turns out it might not have been the case, and the conductor and his wife, who died in the explosion, are heavily implicated as being cultists in the know. Also, the local religious organization, Church of the Dogs of the Lord, From what I remember, you all were a little on the fence as to they've offered themselves as somewhat allies, maybe, but from what I understand, you all are still a little on the fence about whether or not their motives can be trusted. So, what's the next step?
I think the biggest next step I think is looking to what was his name, McGilligan.
Hmm.
Um, I think I brought it up last session that if he had some kind of like camp or some place he stayed often, if we could look for any clues there or any people he knew. Because if I remember all the way back to the first session when I had that meeting with the one staff at the hotel, like this is something like McGilligan. It seems like a guy who wouldn't do cause a massive explosion. He
Right.
seemed like a pretty stand-up guy to the town's eyes, at least.
Okay. So, Mr. Stone, you know from just life that hobo camps are a thing. So you're looking for a place close to a source of water, that's not too far off the tracks and probably not too far from town, but not like in it.
Okay.
The immediate culprit seems to be there is a fairly major river, um, not even a mile out of town. It's apparently the reason why the rail stop was here in the first place, so that the steam engines could tank up on water. So if you had to guess, there's a fairly significant bridge over there. If you had to guess, that would be the first place that you would start looking for a hobo encampment.
Interesting. Okay. Um, I'd also think if we head over there, Tommy's gonna want to uh basically remind them that we need to be looking for well, I guess relating to them. This would be probably a good time to be like, oh yeah, by the way, went through that ledger and we're looking for the seed, which we think is the red grass, and the well of darkness, which we think is a physical location. Um, so maybe when we get there, we should ask if they have heard of anything like that. Um, and yeah, I think that's all that I really want to get. I know that you guys probably want to get like who was McGilligan, what might have been his motivations type thing. But I at this point, Tommy is like, this is what we need to do. This is the one path is to find the well and to hopefully find other cultists. So yeah, but
Okay,
I'm down
cool.
to head that way.
Okay, cool. Let's see. You don't currently have any mode of transportation besides foot, and it's a nice walk. Um, it's pleasant, high desert, brilliantly blue skies, a little dusty. So you take a little walk out there and you fairly quickly see the signs and smells and sounds of a fairly thriving hobo encampment. Um, so there's probably a dozen uh, wanderers of the road out here in various states of shabby. They've got an old oil drum that they're using as a campfire, um, and spots are picked out, um, with an eye toward being dry if and when it ever rains, which is rarely. And they're giving you kind of a hairy eyeball as you come walking up. Um, Again, Tommy, there's not a lot you can do to not be a cop. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just it's like a strong perfume. So they're all very respectful, keeping their hands where you can see them, kind of a thing. And one of them, a younger man, steps forward and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you need to be here right now. There's not much here for you."
Would you like me to take the lead on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. It's like we're not here, and we don't mean any harm against your society here. We're just here to ask some questions about McGilligan. That's it. And I promise you, I hold up my gun, but I'm like I hold it up to the air. It's like we don't mean to harm you, kind of deal.
At the mention of McGilligan, a couple of them take off their hats.
Mhm.
Um, I'm if you'll forgive me, this sounds like the start of a joke. A nice lady, a nun, and a cop walk into a hobo camp. So forgive us if we ain't laughing. We don't get the joke.
We are we're just a group of investigators hired by the what was his name? The Harvey House?
Harvey has a little bit of money from what we've heard, right? And what does the esteemed Mr. Harvey want with us?
This is actually our call. We decided that you guys might have known McGilligan, and we just wanted to ask a few questions about what went on and how. And because from what we've gathered from the town, this action doesn't seem like McGilligan.
It really wasn't. It well, it came as a shock to us all. Um, no, Madman, he's one of these guys who is crazy, but he ain't mean about it. You know, he's crazy. Some lady gives him $5, and he what did he buy? Apple pies. He went out and bought every apple pie he could get his hand on and just gave them out. Okay, we're all like, "Oh, you're so crazy," and he's like, "Yeah, well, I haven't had apple pie in a while, and I figured you all hadn't either, and we hadn't, and that was some really good pie." Um, the man didn't have mean bone in his body, um, and he just wasn't cut out for, no offense, polite society. I'm sorry. Um, y'all want some tea or something? We ain't got much, but we got that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
All right. So in fairly short order, you're sitting relatively comfortably in a relatively warm place, out of the wind, with these tin can cups of tea. Um, I mean, it's no great shakes there, miss, but it's strong, and it'll keep you going. Um, my name's Jake. Everybody around here calls me Dog Eyes Jake. I don't know why. Yeah, you do. Shut up, Mike. So if you hear somebody say Dog Eyes, that's me. Um, yeah, no, McGilligan, he just wasn't set for polite society. He wasn't all about the work and going to the factory. He just wanted to see this country, and he saw a lot of it, and he had some really funny stories. Um, and we all kind of miss him, don't we? Yeah, we kind of miss him. But no, nobody here believed that he was responsible for any of that, and it felt like, from what we heard and from what's a couple of us read in the papers, they needed somebody to blame, and he was there, and that was it.
That's
Um,
unfortunate. Yeah.
yeah, you know, if a pie goes missing, they blame us.
And
Oh
Is
no, we
there?
got we got 12 teenagers in a block of my house, but obviously it's one of them dirty hobos who stole it. Anyway,
Is there anybody at all you would think that would have some kind of vendetta against McGilligan or in the town? Because from what I'm gathering, he seems like he was pretty much well liked, and it just something like this. It seems like someone was out to get him or to frame him in a way.
I don't know. I don't know. Again, I would have told you the man didn't have an enemy in the world, and he worked pretty hard for that to happen. And anybody who just take him wrong, he just kind of stayed away from. You know, um, I mean, we all have spent a night up with him swapping tall tales, and we'd always make him go last because it made ours sound bad in comparison. But no, I don't think I ever heard anybody say a bad word about him, and I can't say that about everybody. You no, hell, he was kind of our, you know, he was kind of the guy that we had talk to people. You know, a police officer, no offense, shows up, wants to roust us out. Old madman would be over there and have a few words and tell a few jokes, and we would nod our heads and say, "Oh yes, sir, we'll be out of here, out of your hair," and "Oh no, we won't be jumping on any of those trains anytime soon," and they'd leave. You know, he was just good folks, and you could tell. Um,
Hmm.
so me and the boys were pretty sure it was a frame up. Might have been he saw something he shouldn't have. That happens. Um, you know, and some of these small towns are a little crazier than others, so they're all a little crazy. Well, no, he and see it would be different if it wasn't trains. I don't know anybody who loved trains more than Madman. You know, he made a point. He knew every rail cop. He knew every conductor, every engineer, everybody. Okay, and and again, he was pretty open-handed when he had everybody he knew had. Um, so we don't get it. Um, he, if you put anybody in front of me and said this person derailed a train, McGilligan would be the last on the list after everybody else on the planet.
Hmm.
So
Real,
it's
I have one question for you, really quick. He said he knew everybody. Did he ever mention a Bill Shumway?
it was, isn't he the wasn't he the conductor over here? The head conductor?
Hmm.
He was. He was.
Um, I, probably in passing. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. No, Madman had just the gift of gab, so he could talk to just about anybody. But no, I don't. Anybody remember? No, I mean, we all knew him as somebody to just watch out for, but that's trying to avoid official entanglements, if you will. Why do you
Uh,
ask?
Well, Bill might be the reason why McGilligan was shocked, and which, by the way, we also believe that McGilligan is innocent and was implicated for other reasons, and that's kind of why we were sit down here.
Hmm.
Part of the reason. Um,
I mean, now he did say there was something up here in town. He was kind of cagey about what? Um, because he was saying there was something going on that he was going to be looking into if he could. Um, made it sound like something to do with the rail. And again, our man would not, don't you can threaten anything, but don't mess with the rail. That was his thing. Um, but I never heard what he was looking for, or if he ever found it. Hell, maybe that was it. Maybe he found it. Damn it.
did did McGill in either like here, or do you know of any place else where McGilligan might have set up like a little area for himself, like a little shelter that we could have a look at?
He normally bunked out here with us when he wasn't on a box car. Oh, hmm. Well, you didn't hear it from me, and not to speak of the dead. I did hear from some other old timer that he might have had something set up in one of the box cars, um, on the other end of town. Um, we all got our little stash someplace. Um, So maybe I wouldn't know. I mean, I liked Madman and he liked me, but we weren't like close. So, but if you had to look around some of the boxcars, it looks like they've been there for a while.
Mm.
Um, that might be a good place to start.
Do you have any other questions, Thomas?
I have one more. When who exactly was, if you know, maybe you don't know, someone had to pin it on McGilligan. Someone had to say, "Oh, we think it's McGilligan." Who was the first to do that?
Well, this is all hearsay and rumor, all right?
Of course.
Because I heard it from somebody who heard it from somebody. But when the rail yard blew, and you could hear it real clear from here, by the way, I remember. Huge cloud of smoke, and just the sunsets were bad. I mean, like, really pretty for about 3 days afterwards. Um, but from what I got, um, since he was one of the few survivors and was found um, on the rail on the at the railhead, you know, at the scene. Um, he was basically the only one that quote wasn't supposed to be there.
Mm.
Didn't have any reason to be at the offices. Didn't have any reason to be at the rail. So you know, all the fire department and all that just pulling people out. Um, they got him to the hospital there and got him stable. And I mean, the sheriff was asking questions and the police chief was asking questions. And again, he was the only odd man out, you know. So I think they just pinned it on him. We think they just pinned it on him because there wasn't anybody better, and it kind of tidied things up. So I don't know who was the first one to point a finger at him. Um, but again, if you didn't know the man, that would make sense to most people. So maybe that's
Mm.
why whoever it was did it.
Well, that's all I have.
Sister, do you have any questions?
No.
Oh, I actually have. Sorry, I said that's all I have. I have one more question.
Sure, sure.
Um, the Well of Darkness. Do you know what that is?
The Well of Darkness. That sounds scary.
Oh yeah.
Um, the Well of Darkness.
Or maybe a well somewhere.
See, that's the thing. There ain't any wells here.
Mm.
You get down to groundwater, it's salty. I mean, salty. Um, it's like you're taking a cup of ocean water. That's the reason that that's the reason that this town is right here off this river. Um, um, no, because you know you don't want the water here. It's not good for crops. It's not good for nothing. Um, but Well of Darkness. Any of y'all ever heard of anything called the Well of Darkness? And there's one kid, long black hair, braided, big, thick braid. He looks up at that and kind of puts his head down. And Dog Eye's like, "Hey, Brady, come here." Brady gets up. If he's Brady's barely out of his teens, um, darker skin, long black hair, dark eyes. Um, Probably one of the local indigenous groups. He's like, "Hey, Brady, you perked up like a hunting dog when I said that." what do you know? Oh, he's got the clipped and staccato accent of the reservation. Oh, nothing, man. It was just my grandma used to talk about that, the well of the dark, the black well. Yeah, it's a old it's a superstition. It's silly. It's nothing. So
Well, I mean,
Would you care to share it?
all superstition is rooted in some kind of reality. So, would you care to elaborate?
okay. Um well, grandma said when the white people came here first, um they came with open hands and empty hearts, and they traded. And we know kind of now it was kind of a raw deal, but they would trade. And she said there was a she said there was a sickness that happened when they showed up, and it wasn't any of these, cholera or smallpox or any of that. It was weird. And she said that the sickness came from the well of darkness, and that the sickness, um she said it was something from outside. I don't And she didn't mean like, I don't know what she meant by that. But she said it wasn't when she was a little girl, or it wasn't when she was a grandma, it was when she was a little girl, and some people started to get sick, and and they had a few healing ways, and the sickness went away. But yeah, she said it came from a well of darkness. Um, you know, and we listen to our elders out here, even if they sound a little crazy sometimes, because usually it ain't crazy. It's just we don't understand what they mean, and finding it out can be harsh sometimes. But yeah, yeah, right when the Billigana showed up. So I don't know if that helps.
You think she could have meant the trading post?
Oh, over here?
Yeah.
I mean, the elders and the aunties said that that was the first building out here of of your people. So I mean,
Interesting.
Now, this sickness, did she elaborate on the sickness? Like, do you think it has? Because there is a sickness in the town as well.
they called it the walking, the the blood walking, something like that. It's not a literal translation. Um, but yeah, it there was like uh there was like a cough, and people got really sick, and some of them, yeah, she said there was a
Was
lot
there
of,
a lot of sneezing?
yeah, I guess coughing, sneezing. I wasn't around for it, sir. I don't know, but yeah, the blood walking. But she said they took care of it.
Did she elaborate on how? You said you mentioned there was like healing ways.
I mean, it's not something that we talk about with outsiders a lot. No offense.
Oh, none
But
taken.
our aunties and our elders know a lot of the old lore that works, you know, works just fine. Um, but like the healing ways and the blessings, um, they found something that works. So, and grandma said that it went away and never came back. So who knows?
Mm.
So we got to figure out how to like what that is and how to do it. Essentially, if we want to like save this town. Huh.
So what do you?
I think I think for do we have any more questions?
I don't think we can get any more information.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tommy's satisfied. I think we need to go. Actually, uh, do you know where is? I forgot if you told us this. Is your grandmother still alive?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. She's still kicking. Um, she doesn't come to town very often. Um, I mean, my auntie works here. If you want to
Oh,
talk to her,
sure. Where's she work?
she's over at you know that Woolworths with the all the stuff. She works over there. Um, what's today? Yeah, she she should be working today.
Okay. Well, I think we're gonna head over there then. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
good. Just thank you to all of you for your time, and I'm sure we're gonna try to bring McGilligan the justice, like the justice he deserves, and be clearing his name.
We appreciate that. We appreciate that. Hey, gang, I have had a sudden attack of the bathrooms, so I will be right back. Thank you, faithful viewers, for being here. Sorry about the delay, but we'll be back in about 5. Sorry about the sudden.
Border Czar Kamala Harris swore an oath before God.
My name is
And welcome back, faithful viewers. Thank you for being here. Sorry about the sudden attack. All right, so as you head back into town, you got a few minutes to talk over what the vagrants of the road had to say to you, the merry wanderers. Evidently, some sort of illness may or may not be similar to what's going on now. Struck very early on in the town's history, back before there was even a town, and heading back to talk to somebody's auntie. All right, so um, make your way down to Woolworths. It's new. This place is brand spanking new, fresh coat of paint on everything, and it's it's almost out of place as the hotel. You know, dusty little town out in the middle of nowhere. You don't expect this like 5-star hotel. And maybe this was put here for the people getting on and off the trains. But there's these beautiful doors. There's a doorman there who, crisp uniform, holds the door for you. Two sets of double doors. You walk in. There are two grand staircases. I mean, sharp, going up and to the sides, and then there's um, uh, another one heading down, like in front of you. It's a really great space, and then there's spaces to the side. So this is evidently a three story place, basement, main level, and upstairs. And it's like you stepped in off the street in Chicago or New York or something. This is a nice place. All of the people there are nicely dressed, and oh, welcome, come right in, blah blah blah. A very cheerful young woman is asking you if there's anything that we can show you, anything that you might be interested in.
Did he give us the auntie's name?
Yeah, her name is shoot, her name is Matilda.
Okay. Uh, I think I think
Matilda
we just
Brady.
asked to speak to Matilda.
Oh, Maddie. Uh, sure. She's over at Housewares. Just one second. Let me just walk you over there. And so she shows you around to the houseware section, and they've got some of those new ice boxes that are so nice. And there's a gas stove on display that one of the salespeople is showing. And over in housewares, there's this rather pleasant looking middle-aged indigenous woman, um, round face, bright eyes, and says, Maddie, these people are actually here to see you. Oh, how can I help you today?
Uh, yeah, real quick, we just have a couple of questions. We're hosting an investigation here, into a little bit of about what happened with Madman McGilligan. That's a little bit of what we're doing. A little bit
Terrible thing.
terrible stuff. Anyways, we had a couple of questions here lined up for you. We believe someone you know very closely uh, told us we should see you about the Well of Darkness.
Hey, Betty, I'm going to take my break now if that's okay. Okay. Outside, out back. And she ducks into the back behind some curtains and is gone. What do you do?
I
Well,
think we gotta join her.
I
Mm-hmm.
think this is where I'm gonna go shopping now. Just kidding. Yeah, I'm gonna
Shopping
go
arc.
around back. Yeah, I'm gonna go around back.
All right, so you head around back. Even the alley here looks pretty nice. Clean, no broken glass, all sorts of goodness. There's 3 or 4 people out back of Woolworths having a smoke, and uh, Maddie's talking to one of them, and all 4 of them look at you as you're walking up. 3 of them toss down butts and go back inside, and so she's waiting there. So, you said something about McGilligan, and you said somebody I know. So how is the kid? Is he okay?
He seems to be doing well. He seems to be well taken care of in that the community out there.
Hmm. His mom will be real happy to hear that, I'm sure. What did he tell you?
Well, we talked to him a little bit because we were bringing up well darkness, and his ears seemed to perked up, and he told us about how his grandmother was telling him about the sickness from back a while ago, and we have at least some reason to believe what's going on with like the red grass is somehow connected.
Seems like you know a lot. Um, when the blood grass showed up again, Grandma knew what she was looking at from the stories. Maybe something her grandma told her, maybe not. When the Billigana showed up at the trading post, they brought an illness with them that tried to take hold out on the land. And the aunties and the elders and the medicine men put their heads together. Some bad things happened. We lost some people, but they found a way to put a stop to it after a lot of tries, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
So you don't want to talk about the Bloodwalkers, and you don't want to talk about the Well of Darkness to some people in town. We get a little to say the name of the thing is to bring it upon you, and we don't want that.
Okay.
Um, but you thinking it's back? You thinking that's what this is?
That's our at least our running theory at this point.
Hmm. Hmm. Theory. When I went to school, they talked about theories. Theory is a what educated guess that you've made that maybe you're trying to test out, and that's a good thing. Um, so what do you want to know about the Well of Darkness?
Where is it?
Mom said when her grandma told her that when the sickness came, again, the smart ones put their heads together and figured out it was a lot of the white man's goods. They said, well, maybe it's the food, maybe it's the clothes, maybe it's the blankets, maybe it's the money that's carrying it. But anybody who went to trade was in peril. And so I would start there. Actually, I would not. I would mind my own damn business. But if that's not in the cards,
Um,
Yeah, we.
does I reach into my bag and I have like a thing in my little notes. Does this symbol mean anything to you? Can it be seen? Well, I don't think so, but yeah,
I probably gotta cover up the light. Hold on.
oh, the one that looks like the melting the sun.
melting sun. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't show me that.
Yep.
That's bad luck just saying that.
My apologies.
You didn't know, and it's not like I'm on my ceremonies. Um, yeah, okay, you know a lot. Okay, that symbol is death. Symbol is death, and if you're not already, you all need to be really, really careful.
Do you
Uh,
know? Do you know any way we can prepare? We've already had a run-in with what I'm assuming is a bloodwalker. Took a few, but the pistol can kill it, which is nice to know.
Vinegar. And she turns and walks inside, shutting the door firmly.
Huh.
I think we have a solution.
And we can easily get vinegar.
Yeah.
Why vinegar?
Vinegar's acidic.
It is acidic, but they're.
Well, I
Oh.
think we need to head to the trading post.
Yeah, I agree. We just, if anything is to be believed, we need to be careful.
However, first I think we go in this Woolworths and buy vinegar.
I agree.
An excellent plan. All right. So you can walk out with as many jugs as you can carry if you want. Not it's
Um,
not that pricey.
does Woolsworth also have like a magnifying glass or a mirror or something that can amplify light?
Yeah, all of the above.
It's
All
the
right.
And
above.
compact
above.
mirrors. You can get a compact mirror real easy. Magnifying glass. Sure. Yeah, you can get all of that here.
I think I'm gonna get I'm gonna get 3 compact mirrors for everyone, just in case, like during the day if we need to stop something. And like kind of I put together that light is also it doesn't like light.
Correct.
I think it also might be good if we stored some vinegar in each of our offices just in case uh, it comes down to it. But I think we should carry like personal little bit of vinegar on us at all times. Um,
I have perfume appliers.
that's awesome. Yeah.
And you could buy more atomizers there at the store too. They sell those. You know.
Oh yeah. So we are stocking up on vinegar application products.
Nice.
Oh, we're gonna
And
smell beautiful.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome. And then I think
You
after
know,
we
Marcy. You know, Marcy. Every time I'm around you, I want pickles. I don't know why. It drives me crazy. All right, go ahead.
after we stock all that up, pour the vinegar in, of course, because we need to make sure that it's actually prepared. I think we stop by the house again really quick so I can grab the shotgun and we go.
Okay,
All right.
we're to
Trading post.
okay.
Any
All
other
right.
preparation y'all want to make?
Um,
Do I
Do you think if the good old sister were to think hard enough, do you think she would be able to find the answer why vinegar is the solution?
Um, very possibly. Why don't you give me a puzzle things out roll, please? Roll plus reason. Okay. Partial success. All right. So you get to ask one question. Um, sounds like um, what is its weakness? Okay.
Yeah.
So if the answer seems to be vinegar, why? Um, and I'm going to assume the three of you are kicking that around a little bit verbally and whatnot.
Mhm.
Your spiritualist over here points out that vinegar only happens after a process. Acid, you can mix a couple of chemicals together, you got acid, or render something down and you've got a stronger acid. Vinegar only happens after you ferment something. You take a food and you ferment it into an alcohol, and then you kind of let it go bad, which is, if you look at it another way, the bacteria and all that are changing the alcohol into something else. So there's a living process that changes the yeast, changes the sugar into alcohol, and then the bacteria changes the alcohol into vinegar, which is still a useful byproduct and, like you said, acidic. But on a metaphysical level, it takes life. It takes life to make vinegar. you gotta have an intention behind making the alcohol to begin with, and then you have to have another intention to purposely let it uh, change, or accidentally. I'm sure the first vinegar was accidental. Um, so you've got an intellect saying, "I want this process to take place," and then you have not one but two um, biological processes that have to happen in order for this to take place. So, on a kind of a metaphysical level, vinegar is very human. Vinegar is very quote unquote natural, and it's a life process.
Kind of
And
like, yeah, how the Bloodwalker was changed by a transformation that's not natural. This is a natural one, reverting it in a sense.
yes, yes. And since the energies of the cultist, or at least the cultist writings that you found, seems to be to end everything, end all life, so that the power that be can start over. Um, again, on a metaphysical level, it could be that using life, the essence of life and living, to fight it. You know, you've heard worse theories. And you get to use +1 on any roll involving that supposition. So, what do you do?
All right, so do you think we're at Trading Post?
You want to head over there now? Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Before we do, this is
mhm,
just to like do the whole armor thing, I guess. We see a
mhm.
montage of Tommy putting on a shirt, and then another shirt, and then like a jacket, and then he's like very warm, but to him it's kind of like, okay, now I can kind of roll around a little bit with some extra padding, and I think that would be a way for him to like, cause he has the feature, what is it, tough as nails, and for him that's his like, his armor is an actual armor. It's just him
Oh, so
like making sure like,
you just went home and you put on the duster, right? The
yeah,
leather, with the thing, and the hat comes down, and all of a sudden you look like Jesse James is back. Okay, yeah, no, I like that a lot. I like that. And the shotgun, dun
yeah.
dun 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 dun. No, no. Okay, so you're ready. All right, so you head on over. Um, there seem to be a lot of dogs out today. Um, again, every street corner has got three, and at least one of them is watching the three of you go by, talking quietly to each other. Um, out of the corner of your eye, you see three of them talking, and one of them nods, and one of the other ones takes off into town, around a corner where you can't see him. So you make it over to the trading post. It's sundown, so there are a few tourists here waiting eagerly to get their picture taken with an honest to God Native American. Um, and the photographer, he's looking pretty happy because apparently it's been a good day. Golden hour, all that, smile pretty, don't move, don't move. Tee. Um, so that's going on. And some, again, obvious tourists are also leaving the building itself. What do you do? Closing time is here in like 20 minutes. So what do you do?
Well, so number one, I don't think we have much time in general before the dogs come around again and try to either collect us or like they probably want to check on us, and that probably involves them taking us.
Yeah, let's just get in there.
All right, so you're in. Um, this is again very, very old building. Like, and you've now found out it's the oldest building in town. Again, the thick walls of sandstone. With the windows are all very deep, and the current owners have done a few things to nicen it up. There's a nice hardwood floor, that looks like it's been here for a long time. Um, you can see the construction. They've put in like electrical lights and wiring and stuff, but you can look up and you can see how the building was originally constructed with these round beams. It's almost adobe construction, but with stone instead of adobe. And there's like a little, receptionist area that obviously was an add-on, and a couple of cheaply printed like brochures, so here you are at the, Lowell trading post, um established in blardy 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 blar. And there's a very she's an
couple of
older woman. It's kind of looks like kind of a cross between a librarian and a stick of jerky. She's just really, really thin and very bony. Could be anywhere from 50 to 90. The hair is sucked back. Looks like a not quite that bad, but just prim. Oh, hello. Welcome to Lowell's Trading Post. Are you all in off the train?
Yes, we're tourists, right? Right.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
I'm
well,
also here to promote some of my mystical healing. I'm on traveling show.
isn't that exceptional? Um, well, we're going to be closing here in a very short while, but I would be happy to answer any questions you might have about the place. It's this is the home of our incipient historical society here at Ebon Eves. So we've got lots and lots of artifacts from the past, of the time that the community arose. And she's off on her pitch at this point. Just she's seen a 100,000 tourists, and she's trying to get you to buy stuff. She's trying to get you to pay for the official tour, et cetera, et cetera. What do you do?
Uh, one question though. I would love to go on the tour. There's just one site that we were hoping to see here, to see if it would include, and that's the Well of Darkness. We were hoping to see maybe the fabled Well of Darkness.
um Give me a read a person, please.
Oh
Could
no.
I help him
Okay.
with that? Because I'm like trying to sell that we're just tourists.
um
Let me see. What's my read a person? Roll plus
Passion.
passion. Oh no, I didn't take the fee. The streetwise. Okay, here we go. Passion. Oh, it's a 2. All right, that's okay. Hold on. Let me click submit over here. Submit.
Okay.
Oh, okay, partial success. So um yeah, you got a um something, you got a response there that you weren't expecting. What question would you like me to answer?
Okay, let me see here. Um. Oh man. My overall question is, does she know what the Well of Darkness is?
How could I get the how could you get her to tell you about the Well of Darkness?
Yeah.
Um, you were the one with the journal, right?
Yeah. I think I have like like classic notepad journal thing
Mm.
that I take notes
Okay,
in.
okay, but you were the one with the journal that you got from the conductor's
Oh yeah,
office. And
yeah, I have the
well,
ledger.
okay. Um, the the notes when you were transcribing the coded stuff in it, um, there were a couple of like catchphrases and religious, uh, you know, um, in one group you like, you say blessed be, they say as you as well, Mary met, Mary part, whatever. Um, may God's blessing be upon you and also upon you, that kind of a thing. There may have been like that kind of a end to a blessing thing. If you wanted to try to include that in the conversation, because you
Sure.
don't, she's scared as hell. Uh, so Are you going to try to hail Hydra this one?
Would you like me to
Yeah,
try it so I could?
I think I nudge you and go, "Oh, I always forget this part. Oh, man. Can you?" And then I kind of point it at you to do
I
it.
think I think I like do like I grab her hand and say it.
Okay. The relief that floods her face is palpable. She
Okay, she's
said,
like,
"Well,
"Get
why
this."
why didn't you just say that to in the beginning?" Um, hold on. And she goes and flips the close sign. Good night, George. See you tomorrow. Have fun. Oh, yes. No, no, you too. You too. Enjoy your stay. All right. She says, this way, please. And as she's walking you back, it's one of those can't stop talking, nervous talking, can't stop talking. It's just when my Hubert was alive, he was always very careful about this, but he always told me, if somebody shows up and says this, that's what, it's very important. And I don't know much about it, but it was very important to Hubert. And so and she takes you to a locked door, padlock on this side, which she unlocks with this truly stupendous key ring. I mean, it's got keys to the Louvre and the White House and all. It's just crazy keys, keys, keys. She pulls out this relatively modern one, unpadlocks it, and then picks out this one that you could use to knock down a door, and unlocks the actual lock in the door. And she opens it and she says, um, "It's pretty dark down there. There's a switch at the bottom of the stairs. It's not bad." And she says, and there you are. I've got to tidy up some papers, so I'll just stop by the desk on your way out, and I'll make sure everything's all locked up. And she
Now,
turns and leaves.
before she leaves, I'd like to go real quick. I, you know, we're not from the local branch, but if you catch my meaning there, but was was your Hubert? Was he the one at the rail yard?
Oh, no, 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 no. Herbert was never a railman. Um, Hubert he was the third owner of the trading post back when it was a trading post.
Mhm.
Spent his childhood here and youth and young adulthood. But we'd been married a while before we started the changeover. But he was always very careful, and we have entertained a few out of town guests as well. So I just and she just turns and walks away.
All right, we have very limited time. We are
Let's
Yeah.
get in there.
Okay, so you go
use
down.
your lantern
Oh yeah.
because I don't trust that switch.
Okay, so as you go down, the vaguely greenish cast of your lantern picks out. First of all, the smell of fungus is not overwhelming, but very prevalent. Okay, it's like walking down into like a mushroom farm. Um,
I'm gonna take off my headscarf and like tie it around my mouth.
Yeah,
Same.
I'm doing the same. Yeah.
okay, cool, cool, cool. So you've got your handkerchiefs and scarves serving filter duty. Awesome. So you head on down and you do see the obvious light switch. You do see the bare bulb hanging from the ceiling. Um, and you're in a cellar space. It's a fairly long, um, like central cellar with side. There would be doorways, but there's no doors in them, so side archways, as it were, um, spaced out. And this cellar goes a really, really long way, like outside of the light of your lantern, obviously extending well past the foundations of this building. And there's doors, um, they're not evenly spaced, but there's doors intermittently on, or doorways intermittently on both sides. And you don't see any like fungal growths here. But again, you can smell it. There's a lot going on down here fungally. What do you do?
Okay. I think we turn on the light.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what bad stuff we would get from that.
Okay.
My only concern with turning on the light, with the fertilizer blew up. If they have any fertilizer down here, which doesn't seem like they do, that might blow up with a bare bolt. But I think we're okay. So I'm just gonna flip.
Okay. So you flip the switch and the light comes on. It's fairly dim, but an unremarkable bulb. Thank you, Mr. Tesla via Mr. Edison. Um, we know who we are, don't we? So it's kind of anticlimactic. They have whoever it is has not strung any lights down the hallway. It's just right here. And in the light, you see there's old bookshelves that have been brought down here and storage. There's like bankers boxes of records or books or something. Again, now you see a little bit of like mildew and mold and things down here. None of none of the stuff here fluoresced in the light of your lantern, sister. So it all seems to be pretty mundane fungus. But yeah, you haven't been that far down in here. But again, the conditions are perfect for it. It's damp, it's dark, and still relatively warm. What do you do?
I mean, I guess we would just continue ahead down that hallway.
Okay. So, from what you can see without going into the side rooms, the first couple are more of the same. Just storage and boxes and records and books and things. The next couple of areas are completely bare that you can see. And in the next ones, the next like three, two on this side and one on that side, it was probably set up as some kind of living space. You know, you glance into one and you see a arm like an armchair, um, and the light visibly rotting down here. Um, you know, you catch the end of like a brass bed frame kind of a thing. So somebody had set up some living spaces down here at some point. There's a dripping sound
Oof.
that comes from the far end. When you all take a breath for a minute, it's echoes strangely, and now you can see the end of the corridor isn't the end of the corridor. It does a curve around to the right as and you're continuing.
Yes.
Would we want to go back and turn off that light and then continue? Just so we don't have like a trace.
No,
Well,
I mean,
we
she
know they
knows we're
know
down here.
they know we're down here.
Okay.
Yeah, I for like 5 seconds I was like, we should probably take care of her, and then I was like, nah, Tommy would never do that. What am I talking about? Yeah, yeah, I think we continue on.
Okay, so as you continue on, again, a couple of empty rooms. Again, at first glance, the last one you hit before the big curve happens is you see like drapes, like curtains, heavy curtains. Might even be like theatrical curtain, very, very, very heavy. But that's all you can see. It's on the walls. It's, you know, you're looking in the archway and there's walls covered with this heavy curtain.
Could I go in there?
Sure. It does appear to be theater curtain. It's that dark red, which would be really pretty, except it's got a lot of mold and things on it. In the light of your lantern, there's flecks of fluorescence all through the fabric. It looks like a constellations. And now that you're in the room and you look to the other end, this is some sort of religious space. There's an altar. There's another one of those dying sun symbols hanging up over the altar, or on the far wall, on the curtains. The curtains are on all surfaces, and it's even you can drop a drape and close the door with it, so to speak. There are these odd looking candelabra. They're squat and made of like wrought iron. That holding like these. The candles are all different sizes. They're all obviously, a tube with one or more wicks in it, but some of them are fat and short, some of them are tall and slim, some of them are like way, way, way too wide with like one single little thing in here. But the candelabrum, nothing is stuck in a space that it doesn't belong. This thing was obviously made for one regular one fat one, dinner plate, and one of these tiny little. But it's a little off. Nothing seems symmetrical. Um, it's like the symmetry was intentionally uh, worked against. Okay, so none of the candelabra look the same. None of them are mirrored. It's just, and all the candles are very white, like an unpleasant white. Oh, they're the white of like the underside of a toadstool, like the underside of a mushroom. It's not a wholesome white. Um, and again, the smell of fungus is pretty strong in here. What do you do?
I'm spraying that vinegar on the curtains. I
Just to see, yeah, maybe just to see what happens if we spray it in the fungus vicinity.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, a couple of things happen. One, um, it any place where there's one of those fluorescing spots dissolves almost instantly, leaving little holes and pock marks in anything that you spray it on. It also seems to have an impact if any of the spray gets on the candles, they slump. Um, so yeah, they're not, whatever they are, they're not wax.
We found our panacea.
Um, yeah, and the only unfortunate thing is off in the darkness, you hear a hiss.
Okay, so we might want to use this sparingly.
Maybe multiple hisses.
No, draw your guns.
Like-
Draw your guns.
Okay.
Can we coat the bullets in vinegar?
Yeah, it probably wouldn't survive the firing process, but all
Or
right.
just like the tips, not like the actual primer.
See, now I see all of you sitting there hand loading with, with your hollow points. You put in a drop of vinegar and you put, tamp down some wax and this will show the little bastards. Yeah, we'll see. Hard to do with a shotgun though. Anyway, all right. So what do you do?
Okay. If we hear hissing, shotgun's
I'm
coming
gonna
out.
I'm gonna go lean into the hallway, like peek my head around the corner and like shine my lantern out, see if we see anything.
Interesting. The curve continues. It's a it's sort of a, it's not a circular curve so much as it curves a little and then it curves a lot and then it curves a little more and it curves a lot. Um, so it looks like it's actually trying to spiral around.
Okay,
Do you
I
want to
have an
see if you
idea
can try to
here.
manifest daylight from it?
I
Manifest daylight?
Well, you said like this, the lantern kind of pops
I
whatever
could
light you want out. I want to see if maybe we could see like, or like at least a brighter light. So maybe if we could see like shadows shambling.
yeah, okay.
So
Oh, can I
real quick, I also think that while
Maybe
you're
not
holding the
daylight, but like a
lantern,
brighter light.
the madam, do you know how like if I say handgun flashlight, you know what I'm talking about?
I'm pretty sure I could probably just follow along.
So
I don't have a
if so
I don't have a
quick
light myself. This is the sister's light.
yeah,
I
this is
know.
my
I'm saying
lantern.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying quick little lesson. If the madam could pistol in one hand, spray bottle in the other hand. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that, in case they get close with the spray bottle and then far for the pistol, kind of like a flashlight, handgun. That way you're kind of propping up both of your hands there.
Okay.
Yeah, no, she grew up in a tough industrial town, so she know
Yeah.
she has a little bit of experience with defending herself.
Yeah. So that's as long as we got that going, I'm ready. Let's go for it. Let's do this.
Okay. So, you start heading down it's a lot longer curve than it looked like to begin with. Um, it seems to go on um, quite some time. Um, could everybody give me a reason roll, please?
Would this
Also,
be a
is
puzzle things out or just a straight reason?
Straight reason.
would we have anything to plug our ears with? Ooh,
One success, one fail, and a partial success. Um,
Wow.
Tommy, you realize after you've been going down this corridor for a little ways, you realize you all realize it, but it hits Tommy the hardest. This this corridor circles back on itself, but it doesn't run into any of the rooms or hallway that you've already been in.
Mm.
You've gone more than a 360-degree path,
oh, so
and you have not gone up or down in level.
Mm,
It just keeps going. And that's like your math brain, your uh we this should not the geometry of this is wrong and it
what
hits you hard. Take
what
one
happens
point
if
of
we
shock, Tommy.
what happens if we try to turn around?
I don't know what happens when you try to turn around.
Let's turn around and go back. See what
Okay.
happens.
It somehow takes a lot longer getting out than going in. Um, but you're back in the original hallway looking at the light down the way.
okay.
Do we see anything under the light down the way?
No, not currently.
Okay.
Oh dear heavens. Oh no. Okay. Um.
I like to imagine that the madam in her head is like, I'm the woman of the strange and unusual. This doesn't have anything on me.
Tommy's over here like, why did I do this? What's going on? Okay.
I think
Let's
Sister
go
is just
in.
thinking about her favorite flower right now.
She's happy to be included.
Like, yeah.
She's
Tommy's
in
like,
her
not
happy.
again.
She's having some quiet time. Just let her be.
Yeah.
All right. So
Talking to God in my mind.
you head on down this seemingly endless curve. Um yeah, Tommy, you've gone well over like 700 degrees around in a circular path, and
Anybody have chalk?
it seems to keep going until it finally opens up, and it's less of like a doorway and more just like a hole chopped into rock, or
Mm.
clawed out of rock. You don't know. Been here a long time. The smell of fungus is not overwhelming, but it's the only thing that you can smell right now. And in the light of your lantern, the glow from the stuff on the walls has been picking up in intensity and brightness. So the gap, the whatever at the end of this looks almost like a black hole in comparison. You're in a glowing, a badly bad for your nerves, glowing red corridor. It feels biological. It feels like you're intestinal. You're inside something.
Does it
And then
seem
there's open blackness in front of you.
does it seem like the fluorescence is coming out of the darkness? Or like exuding from?
No, it's glowing off the walls where all the fungus is now.
Okay, spray the walls.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Okay, when you spray the walls, again, big patches just slump and dissolve. Doesn't smell very good. In fact, it smells quite vile. And you get that hissing again. Um, it's a cross between like a steam engine letting out a little bit and 1,000 snakes. It's not it's not a good sound, and it's multiple. It's not one thing. It's not a dragon, clearing his throat. It's a lot of things
Is it
hissing
coming from behind us or in front of us?
only in front of you out of that darkness.
Mm,
Shine your light into the darkness.
Okay. I'll like reach my hand out and through the
Okay.
hole.
Something like
The
if you can.
the floor goes out a little ways and drops. You're over a larger space apparently. You
Is my
cannot.
light bright enough to see the bottom?
Well, you haven't got there yet.
Mm.
You're the it's not bright enough to see a far wall if there is one, but you find yourself on a sort of a balcony-esque space that stretches off along the walls. Again, there's curves to the walls, so you can only see 10, 20 feet in either direction, but it just curves, and they're strangely narrow. It's a strangely narrow ledge that goes around and disappears in both directions. And you're looking down into this darkness. You think you see glints of light off of things down there, not easily identifiable. But you all have a sense that you're standing over something impossibly deep, like center of the earth kind of deep. And the smell of the fungus coming up out of it is, I mean, it's the only thing you're aware of now. What do you
Having
do?
some weird deja vu to a certain underground city.
We need to invent pressure washers and then fill them with vinegar and then just come down here, proton pack our way through this place.
Super soaker,
Um,
Do you
basically.
think I could
Tony Stone,
bless?
inventor of the super soaker.
Do you think I could bless a bottle of vinegar in a sense of making it holy vinegar in the same way you do with water?
How you do with the Radveer play?
I mean, anything can be the recipient of a blessing. Um, sure, why not? Go ahead and give me a passion roll, please.
I'm sitting here wondering what happens when we pour a gallon of vinegar down into the impossible hole.
Okay, so Sister Vina takes her bottle of vinegar and says a few words over it. For a moment, you can all smell it, which you couldn't say before. It's odd because it's not open; it's just a container. But it seems to cut through that fungal smell And it's pleasant. It's the vinegar of a nice, a really good pickle, on a Chicago dog. Reminds you of summer and sunlight and the crack of a baseball on a bat. And it's yeah, for a moment there's just a little bit more light in here than there was. And the moment passes. What do you do, sister?
I guess I'm gonna go out of my way to bless all the vinegar we have.
Okay. Count that as done. So what do you do?
Do we want to try to drop a bottle of this stuff down there?
I think, okay, really quick, I have a
Question, is
decent
vinegar
idea here.
flammable?
I think it would be a good idea if, you know how we all have our little breathing masks up? It might be a good idea if we, like, lightly applied vinegar to our breathing masks.
I was actually thinking the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Um,
And the good sister will tell you that's a reasonable precaution against some kinds of diseases, even. Not everything, but a little bit of acid that you're breathing through is not awful. So now you're mostly smelling vinegar. What do you do?
okay.
Down the hatch.
Yeah, here we go. Let's, oh God. Let's just let's just pour a little bit into the impossible hole.
Okay. So you pour it out, you hear it glugging out,
It's reaching for my pistol.
and
Reaching for my pearls.
you don't hear anything.
Okay.
You throw a rock down a hole and you wait. Clatter, clatter, clatter. Okay, it's about that deep. It's down there, but okay. You throw a bucket of water into a hole and you wait for a splash or something. Sound of maybe it hits the sides, something. You dump this container of vinegar down this hole, and as soon as the last glug is out, you hear nothing. And you wait, and you wait, and you wait, and all of a sudden it's the ground, it doesn't actually like lurch earthquake wise, but all of you feel something change. Okay.
Yeah, I think
It's like a thump in your, it's like it's music. It's a sound too deep to be heard, but you feel the whump in your chest and the hissing that rises, and then the scrabbling starts happening. Sounds like a lot of things are moving your way at speed, and that's when the light of your lantern picks out glowing spots, glowing red in the light. Um, a lot of things are moving toward you and getting close
We're going.
rapidly. What do you do?
Do
We're
we drop
going.
the rest of the payload and run?
Oh, drop the rest of the vinegar? Well, no. Drop a
Not
good
all of it.
amount,
Not
but
all of it.
keep some in case, like.
Maybe like a whole ass jug if we have like multiple. Just
And then
And from then we run.
Start blasting. Also start blasting while running. Like run and then I blast and then I run and then you blast and then I blast and then you see what I'm saying? Like staggering.
Shooting at random, or are you spraying the vinegar, is what you're saying?
I think we sprayed the vinegar, what we have, except for like a few personal perfume things. And then like as we see them come, I think our strategy is if they are behind us, I blast first if I can, and then as I have to retreat, you guys are blasting as I retreat. That sound like a decent plan?
Yeah, to
Yep.
cover each other.
Yeah,
Okay,
like a
so you're
staggered
kind of-
retreat.
You're leapfrogging back, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. Covering tactics. All right. So you huck the bottles of vinegar over the side. You don't stick around long enough to see what happens, and you run.
Would we
Again,
want to spray that doorway almost as like how they did with like salt back in the day?
Like
That's
kinda
what we
like
did. That's
setting
kinda
up like a
what we did
vinegar
in
kind of like ward.
Yeah, like a war.
Like
almost.
throw like spray it on the ground where it's
Yeah.
like
And
oh.
ground and walls, because they probably can crawl on ceilings if they're crawling up the walls.
Okay, you can take
So
the time to do that, and you put a lot of vinegar where you want it, um, and you run. One eye on your back trail, um, and you hear them coming. A number of them. You hear them coming, and there's a lot of moving feet and scrabbling and hissing and snarling, and it always seems to be right around the corner, because the curve and the curve and the curve, and you're trotting backwards and keeping an eye and trotting and trotting and trotting. Um, the curve doesn't end.
Okay.
You think you've been around this thing 3 times now, and it
Could you
hasn't.
could
It
you try to
hasn't.
try to what?
maybe use your light to see if it can break through an illusion or a
I could ask my little lantern to see if it like can save us. I could pray to God and be like, "Yo,
Mhm.
what do we do?"
Okay, and
Help me, Jeebus.
while you're while you're doing that, that's when the first of them come around the corner.
Boom.
There are 6 of these spindly legged, uh, squat bodied, multiple eyes, wide mouths full of sharpness, and they're lunging for you. Mr. Stone, you are in the back. What do you do?
Blast. Shotgun. 2 shots
Boom,
immediately.
boom. All right, so that would definitely be a resorting to violence.
Yep.
So, go ahead and give me a might roll, please.
I should have taken more might. Here we go.
Oh,
Whoa.
nice. Okay, so you get to pick 3. Let's see. Take definite hold of a target item. That's probably not going to apply. Suffer little harm, inflict terrible harm, press, dismay, or frighten your enemy. You get 3 choices. That would be the other 3 then.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so normally you'd be taking 2 or 3 harm right now because they're on you. But you take little harm, and that plus your tough as nails means you don't take any. You're inflicting terrible harm. The shotgun does 3, right?
The shotgun does, let me check. I wrote it down. Yeah, 3 harm.
Okay. So you blast a couple into puddles, basically, and you have impressed, dismayed, or frightened them. So they flee back around the corner a little bit, but you hear them. They're not poking their heads out, but you hear them, and there seem to be gathering. But for now, you've got a moment of respite. What do you 3 do?
All right.
Reload.
Yeah, just
Hey,
immediately
I'm gonna
reload.
try to see it. Did my lantern respond at all? Did anything happen?
It doesn't appear to have. No,
Weird.
no. The light gets a little bit brighter. Again, almost daylight, but it just seems to highlight the glowing walls. Oh, and that glow is extending a lot farther than it did. Like the first time you came down here, it was only like the last third where the fungus really started to pick up. Now it's out of it's continuing around the curve out of sight ahead of you the way you want to go. What do you do?
You guys
I
figure
say
this out.
we
I'm blasting everything that comes around that corner.
All right, I'm gonna maybe see if I could start using some of my vinegar to spray the walls. See if
Mm,
the walls react to our action, like the walls react to the vinegar themselves. Because you said it's biological.
okay. So spraying the walls, anywhere you spray it does 2 things. One, anything it touches winks out of the fluorescence and the whole thing like slumps to the floor it's a lot of mess. You probably don't want to be walking in that. And every time you do it, there are more and worse sounds from around the corner. Um, about that time, whatever it is starts throwing things at you. Um, I need everybody to make, what would that be?
luck.
No,
Um,
please. No.
No, no luck.
Oh,
um, You can choose. You can roll either might or luck. Might
Going
to
with
throw
it.
yourself out of the way, or luck just to not be in the wrong place at the right time. Okay. Oh, Madame Etoile. Um, let's see. Avina. Tommy, you get missed a lot until you realize they're not throwing at you.
Oh,
Avina, you get missed. Though several of these, whatever it is, their throwings land around you and immediately blomp open into more fungus. These are fungus bombs
Oh.
for whatever reason. Madame Etoile, you realize pretty quickly that Avina is the target, maybe the light is the target, and you turn to say something and get hit right in the face with one of these. Give me a might roll to see how it's going to affect you. Okay, all right. So you're spitting it out again.
I do have the mask on with the
Oh,
vinegar.
oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, it goes over your entire face, and it startles you enough you couldn't say anything. But you shake off the mask and put it back into place, and yeah. So they're it's pretty obvious that they're throwing at the good sister. And Tommy, none of them poke out long enough to be a shot taken at. What do you all do?
okay. Tommy, not listening to anyone around him, and I'm sorry. He's gonna Han Solo this, and he's gonna run around the corner, and he's gonna take a shot, and then try and run back.
Okay. Um, Go ahead and give me a resort to violence roll there, please, buddy.
Here we go.
Dun 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 dun. Dun.
No.
Okay.
Oh.
Well. Uh, let's see. Um,
It's
you
too fancy.
blast around the corner and fire into what you are absolutely certain is the crowd. Right? There's from the hissing. There's got to be dozens of them back here. Um, and you blast away, and in the dimness from the light, you see there's nothing in the hallway.
Oh.
And you look to the side just long enough. There's one that's like clinging on the wall that's hissing at you, and the whole thing just sinks right into the fungus on the wall and is gone, except you see ripples moving in the walls headed around the corner
Mm.
to your friends who wait defenseless. What do you do?
It's in the walls. It's in the walls.
I spray the walls.
Yeah, we start spraying walls.
Okay. Yeah, there heads are coming out and arms reaching out to slash at you, impossibly long, horribly jointed arms, a facial surface long enough to get a good peek with 7 eyes and slashing at you. A mouth reaches out of the wall to try to bite you. And it's coming from both sides. What do you do?
I take left, you take right.
Yeah,
Okay, so
we're gonna keep moving, but spray.
Yeah, keep moving.
keep moving and spray. Okay, so Tommy comes charging back around, followed like he's being followed by all the bats out of hell. And you're spraying and running and spraying and running. All right. Um, um, Everybody give me act under pressure, please.
What is...
Roll plus
believe-
reason. Oh yeah.
Plus reason.
What
Yes.
I like to see.
Ah,
Oh, mercy. Okay. Tommy, the stuff that the good madame got all over her is rapidly growing down the back of her clothing. You don't think she's noticed. Sister, you're spraying You're spraying your vinegar to good effect. Anytime anything pops out on your side, you spray it, and there's a painful hiss, and it pulls back. So you're holding the tide at bay while moving. Tommy, what do you do?
I spray her back. I don't tell her about it. I just spray her back.
Okay, okay, that does seem to help. All right, again, now you've been 5 times around this oblong, weird, non-Euclidean circle, and there is no end in sight. What do you do?
All right.
I mean, we can't just go the opposite way.
Could I try to figure out what's the trick? What's keeping us in this loop?
Sure.
Can I help? Can I help her with that?
So go ahead and give me an assist roll. Sister.
Tommy's of the mind that we must make a last stand. He's given up. We are trapped.
It's a
Okay,
7.
that's a 9
Okay.
because I add
Yep.
2, right?
9, and then I'm roll passion here.
Yep. I'm sorry. Puzzle things out as reason. Oh, you
Well,
got
I
the.
have it with passion.
Yep. Yep. Go for it. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So, the what it comes to you in a flash of insight, Madame. And the question that's obvious: how can I get in, out, or past this? Out being the operative. Um, the word that springs into your mind is up. You don't want to go around and around. You want to go up. So how would you go up? Also, you do have 2 other questions on the list. So you can ask 2 other questions when you get a chance. It does not have to be right this instant, but you
Okay.
had an epiphany and you figured something out. So
All right.
how would you go about doing up?
Could sister, do you want to examine what's on the ceiling?
I mean, sure. Can I like aim my lantern more up?
Well, yeah, it fills the space, but once you look up, um, the you're underneath the original building. You can see supports for the wooden floor on the main level. You can see that. Um, and sister, I'm sorry, Madame, do you trust your instincts on this one?
I do.
Okay, the good Madame stops spraying and just starts bolting around the curve. What do you 2 do?
Following.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
As you follow, she's running, just mostly looking up at the ceiling. You don't really know what she's looking at, but you go around a curve and a half and you're back in the original uh, hallway. Just no clue or explanation why, but looking up seemed to have done it.
do
All
we
right.
see do we see anything at the light at the end of the hallway?
Um, yes. Um, again, it's quite a bit of a distance. It's yards from you. But you think you see a mannish shape um in a suit at the foot of the stairs.
Oh no.
Or a
And
bolo
again,
tie.
I'm sorry, what?
Is there a bolo tie?
There's a glint of light at the neck. So
Can I quick
the behind you, you hear a wet and ripping sound like, oh, I don't know, several dozen things um clawing their way out of the walls
Yeah.
and
Jump
rapidly
right.
approaching footsteps. What do you do?
Whatever. I don't. It's the whatever a man's gonna do at the light is gonna be probably better than whatever the hell's gonna be after us.
Yeah, you guys. Tommy Blast. Tommy's gonna. Okay, this is gonna sound a little silly. Tommy is going
Mhm.
to let you 2 run and stop, take a firm stance, blast one more time, and then turn around to run.
Okay. Well, a couple of things happen in rapid succession. first of all, go ahead and give me a violence roll there, Tommy.
His idea is I might die, but they probably won't, hopefully.
Oh,
Wow.
okay. Hey, boom, 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 boom. Okay, you're 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 using the room sweeper to the best of your ability. It's like back in the trenches of the Psalms. Shaboom, shaboom. All right. Um, are the ladies running?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. As you come running toward the stairwell, you recognize the good elder is standing there with a very determined look on his face, and he lets out a piercing whistle. And from down the stairs comes a horde of white shirted um, uh, uh, churchy folks, some of the Lord's dogs, and they go charging down this hallway past you. The elder in front, and they're moving. They're these young people and not so young men are in pretty frickin' good shape because they're picking them up and putting them down. And Tommy, you're running out of rounds. You've put the last two in the shotgun, and you're still firing. And there, I mean, you there's a sea of these faces and not faces and claws, and you're just blasting and blasting and blasting. And you hear running from behind you, and this wave of white shirted humanity just wades into these guys, and it's appalling. You see an elder like pick one up and crush, and break its spine, or at least its exoskeleton, over a knee. Another one reaches over and just rips an arm off, and twists the head, a good 280 degrees. And in front is the elder, and he's puts his fist like through one's head, and they're just wading in and tearing and smashing and crushing. One of them smashes one's head like flat against a wall with a bare hand, and there's ultra violence. There's gore spattered all over this non-human ick, again, the spider things keep coming, and the 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 people doing the Lord's work are doing a lot of it, and they're just crushing, um and the first wave abates for a second, and these guys are standing here, their clothes are ruined. There's the one big guy who you saw before, and they're all panting very heavily, obviously putting in a lot of inertia. And the elder looks over at you, and his eyes are yellow, not amber, not brown, yellow.
Uh,
In a very rough voice, not the kind and genteel elder that you've spoken to, he says, "Run." And his voice is like a triple Russian bass at this point.
Can
And
I
the muscles are rippling strangely under his clothing. And the others are looking a little, run now. What do you do?
can I
Yeah, we're getting
toss
out.
before we go, can I toss them a thing of vinegar
vinegar's the key.
and yell vinegar's the key and then run?
Um, you do, and as far as you can tell, um,
I don't think they need it.
Yeah.
your it was completely no one heard or saw. You hear you hear the elder bellowing in this, I mean, just foghorn voice. And he says, "Brethren, we must rise to we must not let the beast win." And this roar goes up, and it becomes a howl. Okay, and echoing down the corridor towards you is this chorus of night singing wolves, and they go
Yeah.
boiling around the corner in a full charge, and you hear they're like just snatches of like hymns, onward Christian soldiers kind of thing, but it keeps getting drowned out by these just absolutely beastly howls. And they go charging around, and you just the sounds of mayhem you've heard up to this point are nothing. Okay, crashing, howling, screaming. You almost feel the ground shake with this epicness going on just out of sight. A head comes flying around the corner and bounces twice. Open mouth, red eyes gradually fading. What do you do?
Getting
Okay.
out.
Yeah, let's get out.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure I douse everyone in vinegar on the way out just to kill anything that was on our clothes.
Yeah.
Okay. We're at the your weird crapometer has just maxing. I need everybody to give me either a passion roll or a reason roll, please.
I didn't think that they would be werewolves, but then I was like, huh.
Okay. Madame and the good sister, each of you is going to take one shock. Tommy, you're like, well, who had werewolves on their bingo card? Not I. Nope. That was some craziness. So you make it out up the stairs. The door has been ripped off of its hinges. I wonder how that could have happened. The caretaker is nowhere in evidence immediately. The door to the outside is open, again, hanging on one hinge. What do you do?
Well,
Uh,
case solved.
mm.
Okay. Um,
Well, Tano, looks like my work here is done.
Drinks are on me.
Drinks
yeah.
are on me.
I'm a good Christian woman. Why can't I turn into a werewolf?
I guess I want to see were there doorways? I mean, do we just take his advice and run to a place we know we're safe?
I think we go get some donuts. I think we, I, as you know, Tony Stark said,
I think maybe
I
we should get to a place where we feel safe. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for their return.
I'm taking
If
you
they
with
return.
me. You're not. No, you're coming
Because
with me.
they seem if they had a chance to do this, they would have already done this. Like
yeah, maybe, but
we did. I
have a
think we
feeling,
did something.
Yeah, I have a feeling that maybe we awoke something, or maybe they were planning on it, and it was about time. There were a lot more of them before we got here. They didn't know our plan. They didn't know we were gonna figure it out today. We probably just had some good timing. Um, I think we buy more vinegar.
Yeah, restock.
yeah, and then I
And
said
then come back here and
I
just like
said go
see
get
like
donuts as a joke, but I genuinely do think we should go to the donut place and just hang out and wait for them because I think they might get celebratory donuts afterwards. I know that sounds like a funny thing, but he loved those donuts. That's all I'm saying.
It seems like a popular dog spot.
Yeah.
that's why they were called the dogs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
Oh my god.
you step out of the old trading post, and all the tourists are gone. Of course, the sun is down. The photographer is gone, and the only one standing there is the designated native. You know, he's taken off his cheap ass you know genuine Indian outfit, and he's standing there. He's got his fedora on and a coat on over his traditional native garb for the tourist, and he's got a cigarette. Yeah, my cousin said you'd be showing up.
Good
Who's
call
your
on the
cousin?
vinegar. Good call on the vinegar. That's a good call.
Yeah, Maddie's good.
Mm.
Um, you want to take care of each other. You want to take care of anything. You don't want to take any of this with you.
Do you have any idea what happened with the dogs? I mean, I'm sure they caught wind. They have eyes all over the place.
Not eyes.
Noses.
My people have a lot of stories about the bad. And you didn't hear it from me. The changers, the ones with two skins, all bad. The old man and his boys, we don't know what they are, but they ain't that.
Hmm.
But you three, they're protected and they know it. You three ain't. So take really good care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank Maddie the next time you see her.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, yeah.
He flicks his cigarette, pulls his coat up, puts his hat down, turns around, and he's just another guy walking down the street. All right, so yes, you are all covered in various clumps and clots of yick red fungus.
Do we just want to spray ourselves down?
Yeah.
Sure.
Also,
Okay. Yep.
also, I think it would be good to buy some vinegar, take it, and maybe take it to the hospital, and just say, "Hey, use this to treat the disease thing. Trust me, bro. Take one of the people that they might have, and then use it, just as like
Maybe
a
I
thing."
could try to sell it as some like holy thing and be like this vinegar has
let's get
been
the Harvey house. We
blessed.
could tell them to put it in the
Yeah.
irrigation.
Yeah, not just that. I think we should also spray the patches that we see. Maybe also treat the explosion.
Oh, has there been a change in the patches of red grass that we're able to at least see?
Well, it's pretty dark.
I have a
Where
lantern.
where where are you headed? Are you headed up the hill to Hernandez for
I
donut?
Are we gonna wait for donuts? Are we
let's
gonna go
go.
get
Let's
donuts?
go get donuts. Let's go get donuts.
Okay. So on the way up the hill, again, following your noses, those donuts smell really good, even blocks away. Um, they're probably just starting the process to bake tomorrow mornings, but maybe they got a few left over. Um, you're looking. You don't. You're not seeing a lot of signs of the red grass. Um, you're like, oh, maybe it's in a shadow, maybe it's in a alley, maybe it's in somebody's lawn. You're not seeing it. You're not seeing it. Um, and you come rolling up to the house because it's just basically a big house with a little shack tacked onto the side for sales. And there's a very nicely lettered sign in English and Spanish that says closed. See you tomorrow morning. Um, but there are a few people out on the front porch, and they're looking fairly alert. And the one lady who you saw at the mama who was selling donuts, she recognizes you. Oh, I'm sorry, folks, we're closed for the evening. Um, but if you come back right after sunup, we'll have all the all the donuts you could want.
Right. Who else is with her?
Um,
Is it anybody we recognize?
well, family resemblance, probably a very, very big nephew or son, and again, an older man. Um,
Do they look armed?
uh, the man is wearing a heavy leather belt that probably has a holster on it someplace, though he's seated.
Okay. Silver bullets, and then I think he's gonna walk away.
All right. So leaving the smell of
Hudson
baking
just made the
donuts.
connection.
But the werewolf connection?
When we went down to that like cellar, there were silver bullets.
Where and what cellar?
The original one when we found that like dead body.
Oh,
That's why
snap.
yeah,
Okay.
that's why the conductor had silver bullets, just because he knew about them. That's why I said, yeah.
Oh,
Take a lore point, Tommy.
Thank you.
No, thank you. All right. Where to now?
I don't know about you guys, but like I kind of want to go back to our room and then I just want to have a vinegar bath or something
That's
like
what I was.
that.
I
Just
was
like
gonna actually say vinegar baths would be
Oh
nice.
yeah, the health benefits of an apple cider vinegar bath. Of just your skin's so rosy and you look like a little girl. All right.
I could honestly chug a thing of white vinegar right now.
Yeah. So you drag yourselves back to the back to La Posada, and strangely enough, on the way there, you don't see any of the dogs. Not a one, not a sausage, not a scrap.
Sounds good.
But
they're
um,
all occupied.
yeah, apparently. Um, but when you do, as you're heading um toward the front, again, nicely appointed garden and the archway, and it's beautiful. Um, there is one woman standing there, and you recognize her. This is the elder's wife, and she looks at all three of you uh, carefully, and she said, "He had some high hopes that you all three would make it, and I'm glad to see you." And she sniffs. Vinegar, good. Um, well, looks like the three of you need a bath.
Yeah.
Um, but he said one way or the other, y'all are invited to we're having a bit of a get together at the fellowship hall um, tomorrow.
Are
And
they gonna be okay?
well, we trust in the Lord. Um, some folks would say the Lord is my shepherd. Um, my husband would say that some of us are dogs in service to the Lord, protecting the sheep. So they're where they need to be, ma'am. They're where they need to be, and they know it. Um, and I know he would be gratified, and I am that you three made it out in one piece. But so we'll see. I believe you know where you're going. We'll see you tomorrow about 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
And if he does get back before we all uh please give him my humblest apologies about our lack of trust. We've all had a rough couple days.
My husband is a very forgiving man, ma'am. Um, he's I guess you could say he's been through a lot, and some would come out bitter and hateful, and some come out just wanting wanting to better serve us, the sheep. So again, he will be gratified to hear that from your mouth, ma'am. I have a lot of faith in the Lord, but I have a little bit and my husband as well. So you can tell him yourself. He will probably, and she looks up, and you'll notice it's a full moon tonight.
No.
He'll probably be out all night, with the boys, them boys.
Boys
But
will be boys.
but you can say howdy tomorrow, and you all have a very good night. And she turns and walks off into the darkness. The street lamps are just sparked up. Somebody flipped a switch. Um, so I heard bath happens, vinegar happens, bath and vinegar happens. Oh, I use it for my hair. Beautiful hair. I know a lady had beautiful hair all down her back. None on her head, just all down her back. Sorry. That's a Watch out for that joke. It's an antique. Um, so yeah, so that happens. And doing anything before bed, anything before 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Was the gardener watching for us? I know that they were keeping an eye on us a little bit.
You don't see them.
Okay.
I mean,
that's
it's
good.
nighttime. They don't do a lot of gardening at night.
Yeah.
You don't see.
Thinking that.
It's strangely quiet in the hotel, actually. Um, normally there's a little bit of bustle, either the click 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 of hard soled shoes on the floor, or the soft, like almost slippers that the staff uses just to keep things nice and quiet. Don't hear a lot of that. Make your way to your rooms, unlock the door. The receptionist, he waves a hello. Um, and no, everything's just really quiet. Um, so
Before bed, I would
Mhm.
like to just lay out the evidence, like about the whole case so far. I mean, after that whole supernatural experience, the one thing that's still like biting at the madam is how does McGilligan fit in all this? Because that's like the one lead we have that
My
like is
I
unanswered.
think I think Tommy also tosses in uh if why did these people hang themselves, right? Because this fungus thing, yeah, we beat the fungus. This is clearly what was caused. We beat a thing here, but we still haven't solved the reason why the people killed themselves. We know the fungus was like a big deal, but we don't necessarily know that that's what caused the suicides.
which suicides?
The lady who hung herself, or appeared to hang herself.
Oh,
Oh, what was her name?
yeah,
I have it.
Oh,
Hold
what
on,
was
hold
her
on. I
name?
have it. I have it. Hold on.
one of the staff here.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so you've got those questions burning in your mind. All right. Were you all planning on attending the get together at 2 o'clock the next day?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do want to.
Okay.
I want to talk to the manager though before we do.
Okay. Um, Manager's unavailable before breakfast. You find out later it's because he's very, very, very busy. A good third of the staff didn't show up for um, work today. Completely unheard of.
Hmm.
Um, the tourists, I mean, the trains are coming and the trains are going, and the tourists are a little snippy about having to wait for breakfast a little bit because they're understaffed. You actually see the manager um, with his shirt off and sleeves rolled up. He's bussing tables and taking orders. He's trying to get the breakfast rush out the door. He sees the three of you and nods, and you know um, so after the breakfast rush is over and he's had a few words with the restaurant manager, he shrugs on his jacket and he comes over to you. I'm terribly sorry. The staff, a good third of our staff didn't show up today. Maids, groundskeepers, waitresses. One of the cooks. It's been a nightmare. I'm sorry for the delay. How can I help?
Real quick, do you guys seem your blood grass issue still have a problem with it? I know it's kind of early in the day. I don't know if you've had time to check in on your gardeners.
I no. I was very. I was here late last night to the point where I just slept in my office. Odd dreams, but no, I haven't even had a chance to step out on the grounds today. Oh, I hadn't even thought to check. I wonder if all the groundskeepers showed up. Um, uh,
We can walk with you.
oh, okay. So he goes and checks with the groundskeeper's office. Again, about a third of them, I think there's like a team of 12. 3 of them didn't show up today. Um, but just looking around the grass and the gardens, you don't see a scrap of red. I mean, you get worried for a second, but oh no, those are roses. Oh no, that's that desert paintbrush. You don't see it. You don't see a scrap of it.
We beat it. Okay. Um, Sounds good. I guess I'll be like, okay, could we just sit down in your office really quick? I just have a few notes to go over with you.
Okay. What did you want to go over?
Sure, let's just update you on a little bit of what we've done so far, and uh, I'm sure maybe a few more accommodations we might need. First thing, that red grass, we fixed it. Don't ask me how.
Excellent.
We still working on the suicide case here. Um, Really quick, I just have one thing um to ask you. Did you know McGilligan was innocent?
I only met the man a couple of times, fewer than a handful. But he always struck me as a good man. Had a hard life, but I don't think anyone who, again, spent more than 10 minutes with him walked away with a bad impression. And he did love trains. He knew more about trains than anybody I ever met. And him blowing something up or wrecking something train related would be like a lifelong dog breeder um, kicking a puppy. It just wouldn't happen. Hey folks, we are at 5:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome to Daylight Savings. We're going to take a quick bio break here, again 5 to 10 minutes, and then come back for the wrap up and denouement of Eldritch Nights and Gray Days. We will see you in about 5. Thanks for watching. We are No Theoretical Bias.
At the end of the day, Donald Trump wants more tax cuts for billionaires and
Our marriage.
Election season. Dave McCormick would raise.
Welcome back, folks. Thank you so much. All right. So now the exciting conclusion of Eldritch Nights and Gray Days. All right. So sitting in the office with the manager, his secretary comes bustling in and says, "Sir, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I know you have important guests here, but we have a situation on our hands." He's like, I will return." And he's gone and doesn't come back for longer than you're comfortable. Um, and then she comes back and says, "Oh, he had to head into town to get some more supplies. The one of the truck drivers um, didn't show up for work today either, apparently." And sooner or later, it's 2 o'clock. What do you do?
Let's head down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we should head our way over to it.
Okay. So
Hopefully, clothes all cleaned and looking presentable.
looking sharp, looking sharp. Yeah, the people in charge of the laundry here apparently all showed up to work today. All right, so you make your way over to the fellowship hall. Beautiful day. Again, keeping an eye out. You don't see any signs of that red grass, blood grass. Um, and the fellowship hall, the street in front and the street in front's been blocked off because they're having a big kickball soccer something or other over in the schoolyard across the way, and they just blocked off the street so that the kids don't have to worry about anything. Some farm trucks and cars parked there. The tiny parking lot is full, and there are people bringing in dishes and laughing and chatting. Um, you see a lot of white shirted gentlemen, um, some of whom have got a bandage or this or that, arm in a sling kind of a thing. But everybody's looking pretty cheerful, pretty chipper. And apparently you're expected, and you get a few you get a few smiles from the people wandering around. You're ushered in. That big moose of a guy that you've met, the brother, he kind of grunts out uh, you know a polite hello. And you get taken into fellowship hall, and there's all this food. Oh my gosh, it is so delicious and wonderful, and fresh lemonade and cider, and just it's a layout. They're throwing on the whole dog here. So one of the auntie types takes you under her wing and makes sure that you all have a plate that's just about to break under the food, and you've all got a cold glass of something, and you got a little, a table to yourself, and people keep coming and checking on you. And oh, what did you think of that? I just tried. That's a baked lasagna. It's the first time I've tried it. Oh, it's good. Oh, it's so good, man. Gosh. All right, and you don't see the elder, and you don't see his wife. Um, but after this huge meal, um, he comes walking in, and a wife at his side, and she looks just prouder than hell. And everybody stands up, and he says, "Well, brothers and sisters, as the book says, there's some nights are darker than others, and we have been through a dark night, and the sun is warm on our backs and bright on our faces, and we give great thanks to the providence that put such a night behind us. So go with my blessings, and I think I'm going to see you all this Sunday at church." And they're like, "Oh yeah, Elder, yeah." So and he says, "Now I understand that some of the youngins have got a really good game of kickball going on there. Uh, so you might want to go out and cheer for the home team. Um, I'll see you all very soon." And he to you three. Um, and you're in his office. He is looking a little worse for wear. He's got a bandage on his face about wide enough for a claw strike. But again, he seems pretty chipper. So I suppose you all have some questions.
Uh, before we ask any of those questions, I just want to uh say thank you first of all.
Oh, no, the debt of gratitude is entirely ours, and I'll get to why here in a moment. But
I also want to apologize for our lack of trust in the past couple of days. We've all been on edge.
not at all, not at all. These are troubled times indeed, madam, and trust trust isn't lightly earned or given. So um, I can respect your skepticism. Um, but speaking as a lifelong skeptic, I can respect your skepticism. But I'm just glad to see all three of you in one piece and looking healthy. Questions?
I have a couple. I don't know if you guys want to go
I
first.
don't think I have any.
I have
Any questions I do, I feel like are just like huge questions that like I don't think would be explained. So
Okay,
Fine.
here's my first question. Is it okay, yeah, I guess this would be the first thing I have. How long have you known about the trading post?
We didn't. Um, I mean, again, in retrospect, it would seem obvious. Maybe we weren't looking in the same places and listening to the same people that you all were. Again, a fresh set of eyes very rarely is a hindrance to solving a problem. And again, in retrospect, it seems pretty obvious. Um, so he tells you a little tale about um, well, I started the church because I felt like I had to give back to the community, um, who was supporting my family for generations. Always, if you can't trust family and friends of the family, got us through some hard times, and I was just trying to give back. There were some indicators that some things were going badly along some family lines. And then of course the whole Church of the Dying Sun thing. Um, we should have known when one of the daughters killed herself. Um, one of our brethren was from one of the families that was associated with the church, and he told us a story. Again, not thinking about it, he told us a story that some of his older cousins and his father spoke about a series of dreams that they had um, while they were getting higher and higher in the practices of that church, and mentioned that they were quite disturbing and that they went away entirely after he joined us. Um, so I worry that the server over at La Posada, she was one of that family. She might have been involved in some things that would have caused her mental distress. Um, and she may have decided to not participate in a spectacularly self-destructive manner. But that's our best clue on that. We looked in a lot of the wrong places at the wrong times, and sometimes a good sense of smell is not your friend when everything smells the same. um, or can. So we had some inkling into who was involved. Um, and but then when the train derailed and the cars blew up, um, it was everything everywhere all at once, and we knew things were coming to a head. We just didn't know which direction to turn. So we as a community, we owe you an incredible debt for getting to the heart of the matter, as it were. So once we knew where the enemy was, we could bring the fight to them decisively. Um, and this was not intentional, but you were kind of the stalking horse that that got some attention, and then we just followed you basically, to see if you could figure anything out, and you did it better than us. So we have many strong backs and willing hands in the community. Can't can't say we're all sharp minds though. So thank you for that.
Okay. My second question here. Bad dreams. Staying inside, cutting yourself. Um. Hmm. Medical or mystical? That's my next question.
Medical or mystical what?
How do you transfer it? Like, how would you become a dog?
The lycanthropy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very easy to become what we are. You simply must rise up and slay your brother Abel. That's the stories. Um, the more current events are this. Um, I saw a few things in the war, and I was not as you see me now. Saw a few things in the war, and when it became obvious that they were losing, the Germans and their allies may have made some questionable deals with some questionable individuals. Um, I had an opportunity to see the beast, and it became very obvious that the only way to stop the beast was to take it within myself. And unfortunately, that is a curse that I must bear, and that I am loath to share with anyone who doesn't need it. It is not something that I would wish on an enemy, certainly, or a friend. But when I came home and married the love of my life, I found out that the darkness had been here, had in many forms and many guises. And I had a few compatriots with me who helped stand against the dark. And one of them would have fallen to it. And he asked me, he said, I know the beast within you drives out all others. Could you make this happen? And reluctantly, I agreed. But then the two of us, with the support of some loving family and trusted friends, we can keep our darker urges to a minimum, putting ourselves in the path of harm to protect our others. Well, first one brother, then another was brought into the fold. If any of you had fallen victim to the infection, that would have been the only way to save you. I'm glad that that cup has passed from your lips, for it is not a choice that I would ever want anyone to make. But we do what we can. Any other questions?
I have a question about the like the well itself. How long has it been around, do you feel? Or is it fairly a new like open or phenomena?
If you look in your heart, madam, you'll know that the well has always been there. Someplace, somewhere, somewhen. The well is older than human. The well, there is darkness. What did the man say? I hear they're trying to measure the speed of light. They can tell it's not instant. Trying to measure the speed of light. And the poet said, no matter how fast the light goes, wherever it ends, it finds that the darkness is already there and has been waiting. I don't know a lot about this aspect of darkness. I don't wish to know. I know it can be fought and I know it can be prevailed against. But the elders in the Dene and the Hopi, they knew of this. They knew of this from their great 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 grandparents, and not just here. You speak to the Tuareg and the Bedouin, and their elders have heard stories from their elders going back. The dark was here before we were, and we will have to strive against it, no matter what form it takes. But to answer a little more realistically, our current theory is that old man Lowell, who started the trading post, was in service to a particular breed of darkness, and when he built the post, um, created the spaces under it and the passageway, portal, tunnel. I don't know what to call it. Makes my head hurt. But created that in the time. We brought down the last several yards of construction down there. I'm not saying nothing can get out. I'm saying we'll check every now and again to make sure nothing's digging its way. Again, all we can do is kick that can down the road a bit further. But that's our best guess. Any other questions?
About the vinegar. Did that see like how did that actually do anything other than obviously piss whatever was in there off?
Um, he says a few things that seem to jive with your philosophical leanings. Um, the essence of darkness is it isn't even death. Um, because you look at a mushroom, is it alive? Well, it's taking nourishment and it's growing. But can you point at it and say, is it alive like a tree or like a dog or like a dolphin? It's got its own definitions, if you see what I mean.
Hmm.
And and again, this particular breed of dark wants to grow like a fungus and to grow like a cancer. And the only way to fight that life is with another life. You know, the life of the grain, the life of the spirit infused. So we don't rightly know. Um, we had been aware that vinegar uh, was a powerful agent against it. We just weren't using it because we didn't want to tip our hand too soon. Um, and of course now nobody's seen any since last night. So perhaps if if the Lord is kind, perhaps we won't be seeing it for a while. And if we do, we'll know what to look for.
I like to think our vinegar bomb works perfectly. Well, you know, I've heard enough. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, what about Old Man McGilligan?
Uh, well, um, again, the darkness has its hands in many pies. It's our a few of the police officers and one of the sheriff's deputies have gone missing. I'm sure you've noticed that there's been some missing faces around the hotel. Um, all of these people were known to us as being part of the same families involved with the church. We didn't think that they were active members in any way, but um, active in supporting. But there was a gentleman, Frank Francis, I think, he went by Frank Shumway. He was one of the deputies on the scene. He may have been the one to implicate McGilligan just to throw everyone else off the scent
Hmm.
of the church, the cult, if you will. But I haven't seen the actual records or the arrest report, but it strikes me that that could have been the operant.
I think that's all the questions I had.
Well, I'm
Same for
sorry.
me.
Anything else from you, Mr. Stone? You look pensive.
Uh,
All right. Well, again, I'm sorry about the unpleasantness, but I can't say I'm sorry that you were here for this. Um, you have helped this community in ways I hope you never understand how much you helped us. I hope that that knowledge passes from you before it takes root, brings some of the darkness inside. What did he say? If you stare long enough at the abyss stares into you, and that is true. So, there's a lot of good people who know who you are, and we hope your remaining stay, however long or brief, in our town is a pleasant one, and we will take every effort to ensure that. Also, my wife, she said she had something for you, and there's like a cake box that he says he slides over. And she said to enjoy this at your leisure. So, if you pop it open, it's full to the brim with donuts. Looking good. All right.
That's our treasure.
That's your treasure. Yes. All right. Anything else before the conclusion happens?
I think in my mind, this is what happens. We go back, we go, yep, we're done here. And then you see us on a train and we open the box and we're eating donuts.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
That's that when they're rolling credits, that's what happens. All right. So as an end of session, again, thank you, faithful viewers. End of session, as always. First question: thumbs up, thumbs down, happy with life. Okay.
Mhm.
Excellent work there. So if you've got any lore that you haven't spent yet, hang on to it. Make a note of it. Also, all of you are going to advance between this and any further adventures of the Troubled Trio. So you can pick up one of your advances from yours. If you wanna talk with me offline about picking up a move from a different playbook, feel free. As you know, I'm pretty amenable. Let's see. On a physical note, you have earned the gratitude of the hotelier who owns and operates Mr. Harvey Jr. Um, so that can have as profound an effect as you want it to. Free hotel stays, transportation, a good word in the right ear, etc. So you may not be high society, but you are known to a notable member of that. There's probably going to be a gift involved. If you have the old car, you might have a new one here. If there's something that you've always wanted and would love to have, that could be arranged. So if you want to send me a list offline, that works as well. And actually, all of you take an extra lore point. You've learned
Yippee.
something about this. Um, so yeah, well done. Do any of you want to add a trust point? Because you may add a trust point with anyone in the group. Do any of you feel like you know one of your compatriots here a little better than you did?
okay, I'm gonna give one to the madam. She got us out of that room, and I was starting to freak out about the room because I was like, "There's no way. The way we came in was the way is the way we should leave. What's going on?"
Yes.
So
Excellent. So put what does that bring your trust to? Good,
3.
Okay, okay. So yes, trust with your life type of thing. Madame, are you giving more trust to any of your compatriots?
I'd probably give it to Thomas as well.
Okay.
Just
what is
because of like if he wasn't there, we weren't getting out of there. Because his trusty shotgun.
Yes, an excellent person to have on in front of you, not behind you with the shotgun, but definitely in front of you with the shotgun. Excellent. What does that bring your trust
That
with?
brings me to 3.
Okay, so and the good sister, have you added any trust to either of your compatriots?
I'm probably also gonna add a trust to Tommy. Same reasons. But definitely when like he was like, "You two go, I'll hold them back." Like I was like, "Oh, okay, wow, saving my life."
Gosh, self-sacrificing man with a tarnished badge. Gosh, I don't know anybody like that. Nice. Does that bring you to 3 as well, or
Yep.
wow, lot of love. Can you feel the love? No, not Disney, Owen, not Disney. No. Shh. I didn't say that. Thank you, Disney, and all your lawyers for not, paying any attention to us. All right, faithful viewers, thank you so much for being here. We deeply appreciate your time, energy, and effort. We are No Theoretical Bias. Tune in next week. We might be doing some more of this, depending on the crew. Also, a whisper in your ear. We're going to be having a guest GM here sometime in the next couple of weeks. Guest GM. We're going to roll our own little party here, go into 1-shot, 2-shot, maybe 3-shot. More information to follow. So we're all looking forward to the next time. Thanks for tuning in. I am Saga Smith. We are No Theoretical Bias, and we will see you next time. Cheers.